After Bai Yueguang passed away, Gosen became mute. Married for many years. He remains distant and aloof. Never cared about me. But later, I heard his friends teasing him. President Chu Tang. It must be boring to play at home every day. Gosen, who was usually taciturn, replied in a cold voice. I didn't pretend to be silent. I just despise everything about her. When I opened my eyes again, I went back to before Bai Yueguang died. I pushed him towards the white moonlight. But he asked me tremblingly, why are you pushing me to someone else? Guzheng's birthday. I prepared a birthday present for him. I made all kinds of delicious dishes. But I waited a long time. He has disappeared. The food got cold. I learned from one of his friends that Goose, Mr. Sun at Chinyun Bar. It felt so desolate, I walked towards it numbly. In private room. Lively atmosphere, free flow of drinks. The room was filled with the laughter and talking of men and women. All the friends of Goose Sun. Just as I was about to open the door, I pushed it gently. The sound inside becomes clearer. I heard a good friend of Geisen joke. President Gu. It must be boring to play at home every day. At that moment, I felt a chill all over my body. Someone interrupted and said that it was when Su Tai was overbearing. I don't want to live with her. Son, how long do you plan to play in silence? It's been 4 years. I hurried over, concerned about the health of the geese. I'm worried that alcohol will harm him. My legs went weak and I clenched my fists tightly, digging your fingernails into your palms to muffle your voice. Inside, the voice of the originally silent Goose was cold. I didn't pretend to be silent. I just despise everything about her. He suddenly laughed. She's so stupid. She hasn't realized yet. I have been pretending to be silent. For years. Yes, son. 1 month after the accident you recovered. When SIU was totally oblivious. If it weren't for Chin Sayun, you don't have to settle for her. Don't say when, SU. Today is your birthday. Gu Sang's face turned gloomy. He raised his glass and took a sip. This is weird. From this distance, through the crack in the door, I can still see the red in Guzen's eyes. This is so ridiculous. These 4 years. I really thought the shock had made the Goose. Lifelong silence. But I don't care about this. So what if he can't speak? I can speak. So I talk to him every day and try to make him happy. I will talk about what happened that day. I will take the initiative to make soup for him. Help him stay healthy. I hope one day I can have a place in his heart. Even the stones should be warmer by now after so many years. But there is one name I never dare to touch. Xia Yangcheng. Goose feeling, Yu Yuguan. The real owner of this bar. And someone I can't compare to. I closed the door. The sound inside was cut off instantly. I won't hear the ridicule anymore. My dizziness. Someone behind me seems to be calling President 1. But I was too overwhelmed to care. Staggering to the side of the road. I took out my phone from my pocket tremblingly. My fingers are shaking and my vision is blurry. All of a sudden, I realized my blood sugar was dropping. I took out a piece of candy and put it in my mouth. Finally, I sent a message to Guzen. Let's get divorced. For his birthday. I gave him a gift, a divorce agreement. I didn't ask for too much. This is the villa where we lived for 4 years. It was at that moment that I finally realized. I can never compare to the deceased. Whether in the past or in the future. Suddenly, a bright light flashed. I saw a truck coming towards me. A familiar yet strange voice came from behind. Call my name. When I opened my eyes again, I went back 5 years ago. Nothing has happened yet. Gu Sen's beloved ex-girlfriend is still alive. We are not married yet. I am immersed in great joy. I had just graduated, and Gusen's family is facing a crisis. His predecessor has gone abroad. In my previous life, I resolutely quit a very promising job for him, joined his company, and helped him build it from scratch. Due to his continuous efforts and regular diet, he suffers from severe gastritis. I prepared different nutritious meals for him every day. At the banquet, get those fat executives to sign the contract. I'm worried about the goose. Son, we drank too much and had stomach upset. So I often drink for him. Get those executives drunk. Maybe Guzin was really touched by me. When I vomited violently, he showed no disgust. Instead, he made me some tea to wake me up. After a long silence, he asked me, Sue, is it worth it? Even when I was drunk, I didn't forget my feelings for him. I smiled with my eyes curved. It's worth it. I like you the most, Guzin. But the emotion at that moment cannot stand the test of time. And his thoughts about his ex. Later I realized that he really didn't deserve it this time. I won't quit for him. My phone is ringing. It's Guzin. He sounds tired. He asked, have you submitted your resignation? I looked at the resignation letter in my hand. If I hadn't been reborn, I'll go straight to the CEO's office. Submit a resignation letter. Even though the CEO tried to keep me, I would decisively go to a company that is just starting out. His ex-wife will be robbed and murdered abroad. Gusang will never recover. Eventually became silent. I forced him to marry me. I laughed. Guzin, I just sent your ex a message telling him about your situation. She said she would be back. Let her accompany you from now on. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a long time. May frown. He asked in a low voice. What do you mean? Word for word, I replied, I mean, anyone who wants to resign can resign. I will not quit my job at a Fortune 500 company. You. He couldn't say any more. I've hung up the phone. My frustration dissipated a little. Use these words. Suddenly, a familiar low voice came from behind. He smiled and asked, do you like this job so much? I turned around and looked into Shen Qinlan's eyes. His eyes sparkled with delight. I remember in my previous life, a lot of people kicked me when I was down. Many people doubt the relationship between me and Guzin. But when I drank until my stomach bled, but still couldn't get the contract, it was Shen Qinlan who praised me. It wasn't until much later that I discovered the executive had planned to work with him. This is his suggestion. Convince the executives to sign an agreement with me. Until I die in my previous life, I never got a chance to thank him. I couldn't help but have red eyes. I bowed deeply to him. Mr. Shen. Xin Qinglan. I don't know why you should thank me. No need. Save the pomp and circumstance for my funeral. I was silent. Even if I'm gone, you should be single. It all started when I met Gustin in college. I have always liked him. But then, his feelings for Xia Yunqing. It's a hot topic in school. Stormy and widespread. Some even set up confession walls, just to find out about their relationship status. Unfortunately, they didn't end up together. I thought I might have a chance. After graduation, I was still wandering around Guzin. Every time his friends see me, they, oh, look, it's the sun's little tail again. She is not as pretty as Xiaoun. Why don't you take Xia Yunqing with you? They never really saw me as a person. Just someone to make fun of at a party. When I get angry, Guzin just frowns. Don't make a scene. They didn't mean it. Some people, no matter what they do, losing your mind in front of love. I've always lowered my standards for him, but not anymore. I continue to work at Shin. I think Gusian's proud nature. He will never come to me. But one day after get off work, a familiar car suddenly stopped in front of me. Almost hit my leg. The car window rolled down, revealing Gu Sen's serious face. He frowned impatiently and asked Xiaowen, what are you playing? Is your resignation just a joke? You said you like me and hope to help me in the company. It's all just a game. I smiled brightly. Yes, why don't you bite me? That's a good offer. You gotta kick me in the head. Follow you into a startup. Guzin was shocked. I can't understand the huge change in me. After a few seconds, he laughed and said, shows that playing hard to get is not for you. Suddenly, a hand fell on my waist. A distant but steady voice came from above. When we held a wedding reception. Remember to bring your playing hard to get gift. Xin Jin ran. Gu Sun didn't recognize him and looked unhappy. Wen Xiao, who is he? I retorted coldly, Gu Sun, who are you to me? What right do you have to question me? Jia Yunqing is about to return to China. You like her so much. I hope we can get this straightened out before she comes back. I'm not interested in being friends with someone. Who ever liked me? Maybe I've used this strategy before when I was angry. Guzin looked at me in disbelief. He laughed and said, last time you said you wanted to break up with me. You came back to me in less than 3 days. Are you playing the same trick again? I bet you won't last 7 days. Before you come back to apologize. I nodded, okay, then wait. I have resumed the peaceful life I hoped for. Gus Sang didn't bother me. I heard his old lover, Xia Yunqing. When he came back, he even went to pick her up. Great, the tragedy of the previous life did not happen. Xia Yunqing will not die, and I will not marry Gu San. A few days later, Xi and Qilan suddenly came to see me. There is a party on Wednesday. Can you accompany me? Daily payment of 10 times the salary. My eyes lit up, I quickly agreed, and bowed enthusiastically. This job is easy for me. It's a piece of cake. There was a faint smile in the corner of his eyes. At the party, I realized something was wrong. I can't walk 2 steps. I won't run into Gustin's friends. Fortunately, Gustin has not yet returned. Didn't get involved with them. I just came out of the bathroom. When I met Gustin, coming towards him. His eyes were cold and stern. He did not hide his pride. Sue, it's only been 3 days. You can't wait to admit your mistakes to me. I exclaimed, what kind of service is this? How can you be so rude? His face turned as black as the bottom of a pot. Suddenly noticed that I was wearing an expensive dress. He frowned. Are you staying here just for the money? I looked at him with a look that said, who do you think you are? Why didn't you tell me? Who do you think is more attractive, you or money? There's no need to humiliate yourself. Maybe. He couldn't accept the person who had pursued him. Now indifferent. Gusin said sternly. Wensu, how long will you keep pretending? Although Yinshen has returned, I will welcome you back without any resentment. If you choose to return, you can't afford my monthly salary. Use all your wealth. What qualifications do you have to welcome me? Is this your shameless determination? The infatuation of love is gone forever. My intelligence now takes over. Gu Sen's expression turned serious. He walked up and grabbed my wrist tightly. His eyes were fixed on me. Wen Xiao, don't make me angry, Gusin. Even dogs eat dog food now. You know what? He didn't understand at first. Why the sudden change of subject? What do you mean? I mean, if there's dog food, it's good. Don't go around eating other people's garbage. This is unhygienic and leaves a bad taste. This is unfair to Xiao Yunchen. I have a big smile but full of challenges. I am no longer a person who is meek and cautious in front of him. Also, if I like someone, it must be a handsome person. How do you compare to our boss? I put my hands on my hips and said these words. No need to breathe. I felt a slight pain in my wrist. It disappears. When I saw the faith in Gustin's eyes shattered. Suddenly, a familiar deep voice sounded from behind. Its tone is warm and smiling. Wen Xiao, I think you have good taste. That hand rudely pulled my hand out of Goose Sun's hand. Gently wiped the red. Does it hurt? I raised my head and looked into Xi and Qinglan's eyes with some surprise. My defense has dropped slightly. I nodded. He smiled subconsciously with a cold light flashing in his eyes. If you're hurt, fight back. Fight back, and I'll give you a raise of 10,000. I rolled up my sleeves to show my biceps. Like a mighty gorilla obeying orders. As you wish, master. When Su Guxin looked unhappy. Xin Jinglan. On the other hand, it seems more relaxed. Just when I was about to rush forward recklessly, he grabbed my wrist with one hand. How could I let you hit someone? By then, the crowd had noticed the commotion. The people behind us. including some of Gusin's friends. They were obviously not happy to see me. Been watching it for a while. One of them came forward. Principal Shin, we put harmony first. There's no need to disturb the peace because of a woman. I didn't speak. After a while, Xi and Qinglan also remained silent. Everybody is looking at him. I instinctively looked up. I heard him say, if he uses gender to pressure you, let you come with me. Why don't you use your financial power to put pressure on him? In my previous life, Donkey must have hit me in the head with a whirlwind triple kick. I quit. There is no need to write to Mr. Shin. His gaze makes me very uncomfortable. I suddenly remembered this person's character. When I was with Gustin, in my previous life, he often makes inappropriate jokes about me. After I got angry, he just smirks and raises his eyebrows. It's just a joke. Why are you so nervous? Gustin wrote me a message. Stop making a fuss. If you don't want to stay, leave in front of his girlfriend. I deliberately smiled and said, you know, he has a hairy mole on his left chest. I recently saw a lot of his nude photos online. All eyes in the room turned to me. That guy has a girlfriend. How do I know this private information? In my previous life, I overheard them discussing at a brotherly gathering with Gusun. Moreover, this man is unfaithful in his relationship. The woman next to him turned pale with anger and slapped him. You bastard. Then I looked at the other people in the crowd. Oh, and you're cheating on your brother with his girlfriend. And you, it seems. You secretly collaborated with your brother's rivals. Caused your brother to lose billions of dollars. They were stunned. No. How does this woman know everything? They were worried I would say more. Mr. Shin, please do me a favor and stop her from continuing. You will. Shin Qinglong laughed wildly. In Beijing North, my Shin family dominates. How much is your face worth? Should I pay you enough money by card? The room fell silent. Those geese, my friends from my past life. Cursing in my heart. Why did he mess with that couple? Xinqinglin really helped me a lot this time. Not only did he help me fight against Gusun, but he also helped me regain my dignity in front of Gu Shan's future friends. With Xinqinglin, Gusun may not rise again. Just like in his previous life. I am very satisfied. After returning, my name is Xin Qinlan. Boss, I will never forget your kindness and life-saving grace. He coughed slightly, his face flushed slightly. Ahem. If you want to repay with your life, I don't mind. Meanwhile, I finished my sentence. I will still be your servant in my next life. He frowned. Why not in this life? I replied calmly, because I owed a lot of money. Are you unhappy? Should I kneel down? And 3 outs. My sincerest respect to you. Then there is no need. Gusing has his pride. After this incident, he calmed down for a while. I am happy to work at Shin's previous company. Qinlan says that a slap in the face can increase my salary by 10,000. Although I didn't hit anyone, he did give me a raise. He said, consider it a reward for hearing this gossip. As expected, without my help, under the interference of Shenzhen, many in the capital are wary of collaboration with Gusun. His fledgling company is in danger. I just heard that Xia Yunqing left him. Gusun fell into depression and didn't contact me. However, I received a call from Gusun's father. Susu, why haven't you come recently? Your aunt and I talk about you every day. At home, your aunt misses you so much that she can't sleep well. She has been ill and bedridden lately. I often call your name in the middle of the night. The moment I receive the call, my heart is slightly moved. In my previous life, his parents are reason enough for me to stay. Gu's son. His parents are very nice to me. Every time I see Gu's son's indifference to me, they took turns scolding him. Until later he became silent after being stimulated. His parents couldn't bear to scold him anymore. I clenched my fists tightly, my eyes were wet. I said in a hoarse voice, Uncle, I will go see you. A few days later, after I finished my work. Please take good care of yourself, okay? I heard laughter coming from the other end of the phone. I quietly asked my uncle, Gusin is not home. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a second. He's not here. That rascal doesn't dare to come. Just came. Your uncle and aunt will always support you. I breathed a sigh of relief after confirmation. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. I don't want to see Gusin. I don't want any contact with him. However, Gusin's parents used to be very nice to me. Now his aunt is sick. If I don't visit, I'll seem ungrateful. I've been thinking about independence lately. I learned a lot from following Gusin. Contact many things. I can confidently say that my business skills are solid. We have discussed this issue with Shen Qinglan before, who smiled and said, Wen-Su, from the beginning, I know you have more potential than this. After a few busy days, I took the opportunity to visit Gusin's home. Saturday. I had almost forgotten where they lived. Before Gusin succeeded. I only remember later. Gusin moved them to the biggest and best villa. I came in with many gifts. His uncle greeted me with a smile and told some light-hearted jokes. Everything is the same as before. They are still warm as before. After chatting for a while, I helped his aunt back to the room to rest. With tears in her eyes, she said, Su, you are so kind and virtuous. It would be great if our son could marry someone like you. I didn't respond. Being called virtuous is not necessarily a compliment. After finishing, I'm about to say goodbye and go home. His aunt suddenly grabbed my hand. Su, can you help me find a necklace? In the room next to Mr. Sun. I nodded, but I didn't notice the guilt flashing in her eyes. I entered that room and soon found the necklace she mentioned in the cabinet. Just as I was about to stand up, I heard a voice behind me. I turned around quickly, but found the door was firmly shut. I began to feel more and more uneasy. I asked tentatively, Uncle, Auntie, can you open the door for me? His aunt's voice came from outside. Su, there is a misunderstanding between you and your son. Need to be resolved. Don't blame your aunt. I just hope you two can make things right. My heart suddenly felt like it was falling. From the heights, the anxiety I felt was now confirmed. Su, don't even think about leaving. This room was remodeled by your uncle. Most people don't open it easily. At that moment, I didn't know how to feel. I felt as if my body was sinking into the cold lake, getting deeper and deeper. I took out my phone, and sure enough, there was no signal. She is not sick. It's a trap. They even prepared this room. No, I'll come get them something. They went to great lengths to lock me up here. Didn't hear my response. My uncle also spoke. Don't worry, Su. We don't mean to hurt you. Sin will be back soon. You can talk. Okay. I can't refuse. When Gusin came back, I sat on a chair in the room, expressionless, staring at the door until I hear a noise outside. The door suddenly opened from the outside, unveiling Gusin. He rushed in and hugged me tightly, breathing rapidly. Su, you still care about me, right? My parents lied to you that I was in a car accident. You ran over without hesitation. If it really comes to that, you will still be by my side. I let him hold me still. After a while, he still didn't let go. I managed a sarcastic smile. Gusin, are you mean? He froze. A good horse does not eat the grass behind it. Not to mention a blade of grass that's rotten from the roots. It's illegal for your parents to imprison me. You know, I firmly assert. He opened his mouth but said nothing. You know, I continue. You know why they got me here? Pretending to be sick is a lie. But you pretend not to know. As if this would absolve you of any responsibility. I shouldn't have any illusions about your parents. Your whole family is equally bad. His breath became cold and severe. He grabbed my chin tightly and forced me to look up at him. Wen-Su, stop testing my bottom line. Didn't you admire me the most? That was before I understood. I replied, I didn't understand your feelings before, but now I do. I realized that the person I like, not as imagined, Xiao Yunqing, but the real you is by my side. Can we start over? I know last time, Shin Qinglan pretends to be your boyfriend. You two weren't really dating. If this was my past life, forward, I have decided to sign the divorce papers. This sentence will definitely touch me deeply, but some words become meaningless if they are said too late. I threw at him what he had said in his past life. Guzin, stop pretending. Xia Yunqing is a good girl, you ruined her. How can you be so useless? Guzin's voice was strained. She's nice, but I only like you. She doesn't understand me. She thinks I'm not ambitious enough. I can't make a comeback. She never acknowledged me. Always compare me unfavorably. Self-made executives. He doesn't really love me that much. The reason why something out of reach is called moonlight. Because it's like the moon. It hangs high, forever out of reach. People always want what they can't get. Now Xia Yunqing is back. Just like I used to. She accompanied Sun Yi in starting a business, aiming to build a business empire. They had happy moments, just like any ordinary couple. Xia Yunqing also comforted him and support his entrepreneurial efforts. But unexpectedly, Xia Yunqing is different from me. She prefers motivation. Remember Joan? His family went bankrupt, so he started his own business. He negotiates with other executives every day, drinking until midnight, almost never sober. I almost drank myself to death once. Mr. Wang's company is doing very well now. His company went bankrupt twice. He almost committed suicide. But he still succeeded. You should learn from their experience, especially if you have a financial background. Starting a business shouldn't be difficult for you. I used to be gentle and considerate. I'm not that kind of person. I am more impulsive. Love changed me, but now I am sober. I smiled and said to him, is she right? Nobody wants you, but somebody wants me. Okay. Gu Sang's eyes were wet, and he struggled to say, in this life, without my help, Zinkinglin's largest order, it may never be his. This was the key to his initial success. But the past is the past, nothing can make up for it. He slammed the door and left angrily. Just leave these words. Wensu, I hope you can see clearly. I don't usually socialize. Recent. I mainly keep in touch with Shin Qinglan, because he is the president of the company. Tomorrow is Sunday. Maybe no one will notice I'm gone. I curled up in the chair, quietly staring at the small window on the wall. The moonlight outside is faintly visible. A soft voice interrupted me from my thoughts. I paused. Suddenly, a familiar voice came from above. Manjusri, you didn't respond to the sound at all. Why are you so confused? I looked up. I saw a figure that shouldn't be there. Xian Qinlan opened the window. He leaned forward. His expression is a bit playful, but also a bit funny. But I noticed that he seemed angry. Bashin, why are you here? He retorted. If I don't come, who knows how long it will take you to escape? You can delay so much work, evil capitalist. 1 second, 2 seconds. Quite a while has passed. We looked at each other silently. I suddenly asked Mr. Shin, did you call the police? He raised his eyebrows. Did you really think about calling the police? Of course I'll call. They imprisoned me and restricted my freedom. Why didn't I call the police? Xian Qinlan said to herself. I thought you liked Gusin very much. You won't call the police. What? Nothing. I can't imagine. Why can Zinkinglin remain so stable, perched on that little window? So long. I quickly urged him to call the police. He tested it. So do I really have to go? Go, please. But time passed and he didn't move. I looked at him in confusion. He pursed his lips and looked serious for the first time. I'm worried that you'll be scared if I leave. What are you afraid of? Aren't you afraid? Darkness. How do you know I'm afraid of the dark? But I spent too much time with my son. In my previous life, he would tell me, what's scary in the dark? Can you please stop being so exaggerated? Later, I forced myself not to be afraid. Gradually, I really didn't seem to be so scared anymore. I stared at him intently, but he didn't dare to look me in the eye. Gustin seemed to hear some movement in the house. The moment he opened the door, Xian Qinglan has left the window. The high windows are closed again. Moonlight shines in. Gusin finally relaxed. Are you hungry? I didn't respond to him. I'm waiting for Xian Qinglan. He said he would get me out safely. When the police car arrived, the Wu family was shocked. The signal is interfered. I can't call or communicate with anyone. Outside, Gusin seemed to realize something. He suddenly turned around and looked at me. Keep calm. Then I saw Shin. Qinlan came over and hugged me. I looked at him in confusion. I asked Shin Zhenlan softly, did you know me before? I know I'm afraid of the dark. In the previous life, he gave up his position for me, being able to reach Gusin when he couldn't contact me. It's hard not to doubt. He froze slightly, his face becoming even gloomier. I was planning to wait until I died, then put the QR code. The code on my tombstone. Scan to see what you forgot. But you found out earlier, what a trouble. But you don't seem worried at all. He just doesn't like to talk about the past. Now Gusing has escaped. The police couldn't find him. Xian Qinglan is worried about me. Escort me home every day. Only when he sees the lights on in my house. Will he leave? For a few days, I was safe. I frowned, not understanding why Gusin would run away. This will only increase his punishment. Although his company is small, it requires a lot of investment. Almost all the money left in his family. Involved in his project. In previous bidding activities I encountered at work. It seems that Shin Company also planned to attend. I don't know why. The new group did not win the bid in its previous life. On the contrary, Gusin and I ended up benefiting from it. His company is now in chaos and has almost no leader. This makes me feel more complicated. See the company I worked so hard to build. In my previous life. In this state, I feel a little lost and distressed. Shinkinglan knew it before me. He called me to his office. Discuss it. Slowly lift your eyelids. He looked at me leisurely and said, Wen-su, how could you fall in love with such a man? I shrugged. I don't know. You can take him there. If you want. He gritted his teeth and suddenly burst into laughter. Out of frustration. I certainly don't want my future children to have a criminal record. I know the best ophthalmologists in the world. I can send you for inspection for free. How can you not see a good man when he's right in front of you? I used to be as timid as if I had a criminal record. When I was with Gusin. I'm very busy these days. Gusin has not appeared yet. Soon I won't have to work for anyone else. I won't live for others. I have the ability, why should I serve others? Shinkingly supports my decision. He said if a company is concerned about the ability of its employees, or worried about starting your own business, that company won't last long. Dim street lights. Drop me off at Sinkingly. At the entrance of my neighborhood, I asked him to let me out. Recently, security personnel have been thinking. He is my boyfriend. I don't want to cause any misunderstanding. Xian Qingli said softly, okay. I don't want to stop you from finding a boyfriend. I'm ready. Walked into the residential area alone. Only when I'm almost home. I remember the entrance light was broken. This makes me feel uneasy. I just walked to the stairwell. A hand reaches out from the darkness. Before I react, I was pulled into the alcove of the stairwell. The other hand tightly covers my mouth. I can't make a sound. At this moment, our breaths intertwined. I seemed to hear his violent heartbeat. I was too familiar with Gu-sun in my previous life. I quickly guessed it was him. Although he is still wanted by the authorities. Gu-sun, I said. He slowly loosened his grip, breathing heavily. His heartbeat quickened. His eyes were as deep as a pool, staring at me closely. I try to stay calm. Gusin, don't make mistakes. His voice trembled again and again, like a lost child, full of confusion and helplessness. I think I've made a mistake. What should I do? Does he mean giving up Xiaoyunqing? Or the fact that he and his parents locked me up? He slowly held my hand, his palms sweaty and trembling. In the dark, I noticed his eyes were a little red. His voice trembled. He asked, Susu, why do you want to push me to others? You don't like me anymore. My brain exploded. I clenched my fists and kept calm. He slowly, these days I have been dreaming about you. At this point, Gusins shouldn't like me. However, he added, in the dream I clearly knew it was you and me, but this has never happened before. I looked toward the stairs, thinking about how to escape, and answered casually, like what? In a dream, Chenyun never returned to China, but died abroad. I pretended to be silent. Then you insisted on marrying me. In my dreams, you are always by my side. Help me get back to the top. You're even risking your health, drinking with company executives, until you develop a bleeding ulcer. All of this is to help me get the order. I slowly looked up at him, almost in disbelief. These are real things that happened. In our past lives. How could he dream of him? I kept a neutral expression. If you want to tell me, are these baseless accusations? Then you got the wrong person. He grabbed my arm. His eyes trembled, and his whole body seemed to be broken. Shushu, you are also reborn, right? I asked calmly. Goose, are you crazy? After hearing what I said, he seemed to have really lost his mind. When I found out you like Shin, Qinlan pushed me to Xiaoyun City. I'm already crazy. He leaned over and kissed me hard. I struggled to turn my head away. So he just kissed me on the cheek. Suddenly, there was a loud noise. I just felt the breeze of a punch. Didn't even see how it was delivered. The sun has already set. Still looking at me. Endure the pain. He pleaded in a trembling voice, Shoo Shoo. Please do not leave me. I turned my gaze to Shen Qinlan. Then he came up and hugged me tightly. His waist. I could feel his body tense. Uncomfortably. I whispered, why did you come? He replied, you didn't reply to my message. I'm worried something happened to you. So I'll check it out. I was relieved. Gusterson was arrested and was detained for illegal detention. Even though he was an accomplice, he was the main instigator, even trying to evade legal sanctions. This adds to his accusation. He wants to see me. I went. He shaved his head. His former glory is gone. His eyes were filled with despair and guilt. Hush, hush. The person I owe the most in my life is you. I'm sorry I treated you so badly in my past life. If I had remembered the past earlier, and better for you, will everything be different? I interrupted him. My eyes were fixed on him. My voice was low and cold. No. From the moment I decided to divorce, I never thought I'd love you again. His eyes became dimmer, and he looked more haggard. You really should apologize to someone. It's the company you founded. Because that was the result of our hard work. I no longer follow Guzin. He literally disappeared from my life. Shinkinglin often takes me out to eat. I want to refuse. But he raised his eyebrows and said, don't you want to start your own business? How can you do this without understanding the market? I understand it too well, but I dare not say it out loud. At the end of dinner, I'll go out and pay the bill. I overheard a conversation about me. Mr. Shin, you like this lady so much. Why don't you let her be your secretary? They like to take sides. Bring someone they like into the office. Work closely as a personal secretary. Shin Qinglan raised her eyebrows and spoke tolerantly. She has her own abilities. Why should I restrict her to me? All I can do is give her a platform, showing her talent. They looked at each other and smiled awkwardly. Most people don't take it seriously. I thought she was just another woman. A long time later, this is the woman who founded the leading domestic women's products company. When they see me making money, they start to get jealous and come for advice on making money. I laughed and said, if you want to make money from women, start by respecting them. Certainly, that's another story. I clutched the fabric of my coat tightly. Outside the door. When leaving, as usual, take me to my doorstep. But I didn't get off. I turned around and stared at him closely. You mentioned that we had met before. Can you tell me? His dark eyelashes trembled slightly. You don't want to know. Who knows what a fish likes if it's not another fish? Finally, he was willing to talk. His entrepreneurial journey was not smooth, sailing after business failure. He didn't even have $5 to his name. Sitting in front of a convenience store, I look at the sky. When I walked out of the store, I mistook him for a homeless person and took the initiative to buy him food and drinks.